Okay, so I decided like I couldn't really think of what I wanted to do today, so I just did the thing where I reached into the box that I had from Big Bad Toy Store and grabbed something at random. So I guess we're doing Snake Men. We're gonna go and do the three Snake Men figures that I have to open up. I have this guy Reptilax, and I have another one called I think Vipor, and uh, there goes my 3D printer being all. Uh, Says the filament won't load. We just went through this. Okay, there we go. I'm coming back. Just bear with me. I just want to make sure that this is going to work this time. See, I thought the filament was already loaded, which was why I thought it was safe to go ahead and start my video. Then it's all beeping at me. Whatever. Arrgh. Make my old man noises as I sit down on my couch again. So, yeah, Reptilax and Vipor, I believe is the other guy's name, and the much overdue Ratlore. And Ratlore, I'll do him last. We'll save him for last. But so I'm glad I grabbed this guy out of the box. So here we got Reptilax in front of the Snakeman playset, which, as far as I know, doesn't exist. But they designed a Snakeman playset. You can see it's even got a handle at the top, like an old playset. They didn't even bother to hide it this time. Like Castle Grayskull, the handle's kind of hidden at the back. And this one is just right there on the top. They just want you to carry this thing around. And the funny thing is, in the backstory, Snake Mountain, it makes sense, was supposed to be originally the headquarters of the Snake Men, but Skeletor's basically squatting there. But yeah, I guess they figured, Snake Men should have a playset. Let's give Snake Men a playset, and they designed one there. And but yeah, I have no idea who this poor hapless warrior is here that's getting attacked by Reptilax. I'm guessing he's somebody from like way back in the day, since Snake Men are supposed to be ancient. I love this art though; it's really nice with the pink forest. That's very Filmation, and you got the two moons up there. That's very mini comic. And it's just a really cool picture. And whoever this guy is, I think he would make for a really cool figure, and they should make him. I'm just saying, like a lot of the elements of it with like the chainmail shirt and whatever kind of trident or whatever that's supposed to be, the green gray skull shield. This guy reuses a lot of weapons, and from what I can tell, this is an original character to Origins. They designed this character for Origins, and I can't find any evidence that he existed in anything else beforehand. And he did look like he was originally designed, at least, to have like original weapons too. But I guess they decided they needed to save a little bit of scratch, save a little bit of money on manufacturing this guy. So instead, they reused some weapons from some other characters, as we'll see when we get this opened up. But it's Reptilax, mercenary brute of the Snake Men. So anyway, let's go ahead and open them up. There's no cross-cell artwork or any kind of bio on the back. Since this I can't find any evidence of this character existing before Origins, so I believe that he was indeed designed for Origins. At least as far as I can tell. There is a mini comic, Leviathan's War. Have I read this one? I don't remember if I read this one. I probably have. It looks like it's the same one that came with Terror and Lord Grasp. But I don't. It would have been a while since I read that one. We'll look through here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I have read this one before. So when we open up Vipor, I guess he's going to come with the same mini comic as this. So we won't have a mini comic review with Vipor either. But yeah, the great thing about like having original characters like this, like new characters, that they introduce into the mythos that aren't necessarily characters that exist in media already, is I can make up whatever kind of character for this guy that I want to. Sean Franklin is here, and he says hi, and he says I see CS the director. Yeah, he's I was on his show the other day. Is he in the chat? And it's always good to see him. It's always good to see you, Sean Franklin. So welcome to you. But yeah, like I've been making the rounds lately. I was on Skywalker's show, I think last week, maybe week before last. I was on his show again. That's always a good time. Me and Captain Have Fun are talking about doing something else together, but I need to get a hold of him. The problem with him is, like, the only way I have to get a hold of him right now is X. And I don't get on X that much. I usually just get on X when I'm checking for messages from other people, and we all know I'm notoriously bad at that. So I'm going to have to try to find a way that he and I can more easily get in touch with each other. I'm going to get this axe out just to make sure it doesn't fall out. There's this one rubber tab here that's being stubborn. And I was able to get most of them with the knife. Screw it. I'm getting the snips. There you little mother. I got it. All right. Got it out. All right. And he's got the big old rubber band all around him. So this character does have a tail. I forgot to get that out of the package. He's got a long snake tail with some spikes on it. It's pretty cool. And since he has a tail, he has a butthole. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what else to call that. So I don't know, like, what all parts of this guy would be reused from other figures, as far as, like, stuff that I don't recognize. I think this head is very similar to Fangman and was designed to be kind of a similar head to Fangman. But I think Fankman, I don't know where that came from. I think Fangman has ears and this guy does not have ears. So I don't think it's an exact reproduction of Fangman's head, so I could be wrong. He seems to have the standard Masters of the Universe torso underneath. Yep, looks like that's just the regular old He-Man torso. And he does have a really cool breastplate that wraps all the way around the back there. Got the Snake Men logo on there. Got a lot of little yellow studs on there. And it's a slightly metallic yellow, but not quite gold. And to me, it makes sense to have yellow on there because they did try to avoid metallic colors when they could on these older design figures a lot. So this is supposed to be a vintage design, so it makes sense they would try to keep them kind of vintage. I don't know where these where the top parts of the boots came from. Those don't look familiar to me. And I don't know where this bracer came from. So I'm sure they're reused from something, but they're figures that I don't have yet. I don't recognize them. So, or at least if I do have them, I don't remember. But he's got the same legs as King Hiss and Leatherhead and a bunch of other figures that we've seen that got that kind of like ridged texture to them. He's got a bare left forearm with no bracer whatsoever, and we see that a lot on the WWE Masters of WWE and Superstars. We see it on those lines a lot. So to put in his tail, we just plug it into his butt. And I'm sorry, I can't think of another way to phrase that. I'm sorry. But it is posable in that it rotates all the way around. I kind of don't really care for when they design the tails this way, because then there's always still like a little bit of space in between their butt and their tails, and that just looks kind of unnatural to me. But I probably just shouldn't look at it for that long for many reasons. And another thing that's odd about this character to me is that, and this does seem very vintage Motu, so I'm not trying to be too harsh about it, but it's very odd to me that he has a green head and the rest of his body is yellow. So he doesn't seem to be wearing like a yellow bodysuit. This does seem to supposed to be like his skin. So like, why didn't they just make him all green or make him all yellow? I don't know. It's a mystery to me. So, and then he's got buzz off feet, which I always like the buzz off feet. I think those are nice. And he's generally a pretty cool figure. He's got a black tongue. I don't know why his tongue is black. And the inside of his mouth isn't painted. It would have been nice if they painted the inside of his mouth so it wasn't just all green with a black tongue plugged in there. That seems to be like it almost looks like it's a separate piece of plastic, but I don't think it is actually. I think that's just painted. So he's got like this kind of almost looks like the tongue slides into that little sleeve. It's kind of good. Hey, there's Captain Have Fun. I was just talking about you. I did see that you found Stratos at Ross. I meant to say something about it. I don't guess I did. I guess I got distracted. But I actually went by Ross, and I did not find the Stratos figure, unfortunately, which is the main thing that I wanted. So I'll be checking back there frequently. But I did find a couple of Masters of the Universe items there that I already had. I found the cartoon collection version of Whiplash, and I found Bo. And fortunately enough, those, even though they were both figures I already had, they were ones that I wanted extras of for customizing purposes. So it worked out pretty well anyway. So anyway, before I get into anything else, let's talk about the articulation on this guy. There's more at the Ross near me. I can get it if you want. Well, I would appreciate that. Thanks. So it might cost me about as much to have it shipped out here as it would be to buy it at retail. but yeah, I would appreciate it if you pick that up for me. It couldn't hurt to have an extra one. Is all I'm saying. Yeah, I was just talking about you actually, and I need to find an easier way to get a hold of you, and a way that's easier for you to get a hold of me. So we'll talk about that later. I will hit you up on X, and we'll discuss like what might be some options. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about his articulation real quick. So Reptilax can look up about that far, look down about that far, tilt his head kind of quizzically from side to side, rotate the head all the way around. I'll DM you my number. Well, that's easy then. All right, cool. So and then the arms, of course, rotate all the way around at the shoulder, and they raise up at the shoulder about that far. Reptilax has a single joint of articulation at the elbow that bends about that far and rotates all the way around. Reptilax has a single joint of articulation at the waist. I'm sorry, the wrist. I'm getting all mixed up. Rotates all the way around at the wrist. Hand rotates all the way around the wrist, and then those both have a horizontal hinge on there that moves back and forth. Reptilax can rotate all the way around at the torso. The tail rotates all the way around. Reptilax can do the splits no problem. Reptilax can kick up about that far, which is not all that far, but these figures are very muscle bound. They're very thick. They have those thick thighs. They can only move so far. We're lucky these legs can move as well as they do, much like me in real life. He's got a single joint of articulation at the knee, which bends not quite 90 degrees, and then that rotates all the way around. Of course, you know, back in the old days, my Masters of the Universe figures, the vintage 80s ones, didn't have anywhere near this well articulation. So it's, you know, any extra articulation is good, right? So then he's got a boot cut, so the boot rotates all the way around. And I should say that I do like the design of the top parts of these boots, even though like I'm not sure where they came from. I'm pretty sure they're reused from something, but I don't recognize them offhand. With the boots and the bracers, or bracer, since he only has one, I know I recognize these for something, and I don't know from where. And it might be that they're new parts, and I just saw them in pictures of this guy before. And it might be that they're reused from something that I just don't remember. But you can see they've got like a kind of grooves. They almost look like they're sculpted to be stripy, but they are all red boots. And then he's got those buzz off feet that point down about that far, point up about that far, and then that rotates all the way around. And that is it for the articulation on this guy. So let's go ahead and talk about his accessories. And all these accessories are reused. All of them should be familiar. And like I said, this guy, I believe, was originally designed to have original accessories, but probably as a cost-cutting measure, they're like, we've got plenty of axes and swords that already look enough like these. So why don't we just use these axes and swords that we already have? So we have this double-bladed axe that comes with a Ram Man originally, now molded in green plastic. And we've seen this axe on a few things. Like I believe that Krang came with this axe, and Casey Jones came with this axe in different colors. And it's a pretty good generic axe. Like I said, it originally came with Ram Man. It's made to attach to the end of Ram Man's actual axe, his actual vintage style axe, so he can make a staff type weapon out of it. And it works pretty well as an axe on its own. And it's like I said, it's just kind of generic enough that it works as used as an axe or something else. Now, a weapon that I feel like isn't that generic, but kind of slightly generic, is he's got Triclops sword. And of course, this was a sword that was originally designed for Triclops. It was originally a unique weapon for Triclops. And it wound up being recast in purple plastic for Fisto. And of course, in the Origins line, I think Fisto came out before Triclops. I could be mistaken about that. I certainly got Fisto before, because I still don't even have Triclops yet. I need to get Triclops. I love Triclops. I love that character so much, I made a custom of, it was one of the first Masters of the Universe Origins customs I made, because I'm like, I'm sure they're going to make Triclops eventually, but I can't wait. I'm going to make a Triclops right now. And it was one of the first Origins customs that I made, and it turned out so well that once they actually did make a Triclops figure, I never saw him. If I'd seen him in the stores, I would have bought him. And the only way I could get Triclops was to order them off of Amazon or something like that. And I'm like, well, I'll do that later. And never got around to it. So I have my custom Triclops that I think is awesome. And Al Davis says, hey, Alan, missed yesterday, but caught up on the video afterwards. Agree with you on the cape. Yes, that was a sad experience for me. I saw your comment. I do appreciate it when people leave comments in the replay. I was like that. So thanks for that. But yeah, that was a disappointing opening. I don't have a whole lot of unboxings on, because I tend to try to just buy stuff I like. That's usually what I do on this channel. If I'm opening up something, it's usually because it's something that I like, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes I know I'm not going to like something, but I'm opening it because I want to use something for a custom or something like that. I'm I'll say that I'm not going to really like this figure, but I'm just gonna I'm going to go and talk about it anyway, even though, because I just bought it for custom purposes, but I'm still going to open it up, so I'm still going to talk about it on the show. So that's one of those things. But yeah, I do need to get that Triclops figure. I still need to get that Triclops figure, and I do like this sword. The one that I have with my Triclops right now is I used I took the armor and the sword off the commemorative edition that I had, and I didn't do anything with them. They're still just in the same condition, so I don't feel too bad taking them off the commemorative edition. But and I can put them back together whenever I want to. But yeah, so he comes with the Triclops sword and the Ram Man battle axe, the Origins Ram Man battle axe. And then he comes with this Snake Man shield, which I believe was originally designed for King Hiss. And this is King Hiss's is red, and then it was reused for Lord Grasp, and his was kind of that dark kind of kind of washed out green like Lord Grasp has. And this one is in the same bright green color that the rest of Reptilax's accessories are sculpted in. Al Davis says, I was wondering, you said you had 3D printing. I was wondering if you produce your own figure accessories or mostly set pieces. Oh, I do a lot of accessories. I do a lot of heads. Mostly what I do for custom figures is accessories and heads. I have done some full figures before, but it's rather a complex and involved process, and I generally tend to prefer to just kind of modify pre-existing action figures for my customs, just because like factory made figures are always like the best articulation. But if you wanted to make some really well articulated figures, I would suggest 3D Zip Guy figures. You can download those files, and I'll probably make some more of those in the future. I made a bunch of those a while back, and when I moved, like I didn't have as much room to work around with stuff, so I wasn't really like doing as many of those. So I haven't done any of those in a while. But for example, like here's a sword that I 3D printed, and this breastplate I 3D printed for my the Thunder Punch He-Man. Everybody's seen this Thunder Punch He-Man that's seen my videos, because he tends to show up a lot. So if you watched a lot of my videos, you've seen this guy a lot. But I just printed this sword the other day. That's the movie, the 2025 movie style sword. I just kind of printed it with the gold filament. And then this is a breastplate that I printed out. This was actually like supposed to be like a full harness for making a Thunder Punch He-Man figure, but I wound up cutting it off because I just cut the breastplate off and glued it to this web store harness, because I already wanted to use the web store harness because he had the backpack, and Thunder Punch He-Man had kind of a similar backpack. His is more square than coffin shaped, but whatever. I still think it works. You can see, unfortunately, that plastic on the knob on the back doesn't really hold the paint very well, so it kind of chipped up a little bit. So I'm gonna paint that. Al Davis says that looks really cool. Thank you, appreciate you. And then Captain Have Fun says, I'm so jealous of your 3D printing. I'm gonna buy something with 16 spools just to beat you. Okay. Well, you actually would beat me a lot there. Like my old 3D printer just had the one spool, and I was able to get by just fine with that. But I actually wound up buying a new 3D. This is something we're going to have to discuss in depth later, because I know I don't know if you've got yours yet, but there have been rapid advancements in the field of 3D printing since I bought my old 3D printer. And when I went to buy this new one, it's like for anybody who's a fan of Star Trek, it's like going from the TOS version of the Enterprise to the next generation version of the Enterprise, where it's kind of that advanced in terms of like the things I can do with this one now. Like my old 3D printer, I would have to, put the file onto an SD card and physically move the SD card over to my 3D printer. This one just goes to the Wi-Fi. I send everything through the Wi-Fi. It's really cool. The prints are really smooth. It adheres to the bed really well. The slicer programming is really cool. It's got those cool tree supports, and I do have now an ABS system with it can do 4 spools of filament at a time. So right now, what I'm doing is this is a project I've wanted to do for a long time, but I got kind of distracted. And you can see how I kind of print these things in 2 halves. Is with the weapons, I kind of feel like it's better to do that a lot of the times, so that way I don't have like a rough edge or a rough side on it. I can just kind of fit them both together. But this is a Castle Grayskull mace that I printed out, and I want to do like the entire Castle Grayskull weapons tree. The Origins Castle Grayskull is really cool, but the weapons tree is something that I found kind of somewhat lacking. Like, it's not horrible, but it's not as good as the original one. And I wanted to do all the original weapons and reprint the whole weapons tree. And that way I would go ahead and have a vintage style weapons tree. I wanted to print out all the weapons separately and then print out another set of weapons. And I wanted to actually glue them, like glue them to the weapons rack, So the weapons rack would be just one piece for display, but then I would also have the loose weapons to play around with. By the way, I was so happy to find this color filament that's the exact color, or at least what I remember being the exact color. It might be off a little bit, but what I remember being the exact color of the Castle Grayskull weapons, where it's that kind of bone white, kind of light tan, beige sort of color. And I like to imagine that the reason that the weapons were this color is because, like, they've just been sitting on that rack for so long. They're ancient weapons from the Eternia's ancient past, and they're just caked in dust now. So this isn't the color that these weapons actually are. This is dust on the weapons. And if you remember the old weapons pack, they remolded those weapons in a silver plastic. So now I got to do them all in silver. But I kind of feel like those might be the actual natural colors of the weapons, and that's after they've been cleaned off. And or they could be the burgundy color that came with Mani Faces and Wondar. And of course I want to do like a whole set of Mani weapons. And I know I printed out the axe and the rifle and this mace, but I don't remember if I got around to any of the other pieces. But I'm going to go ahead and do them all now. It's going to be a lot of fun. Are there any Al Davis says, are there any semi-transparent opaque filaments? Oh yeah. You can get like a. I don't think the transparent stuff works that well, just because of the nature of the beast and how it builds up layers. But they do make transparent films. I believe they call it neutral, is the clear one. And then they have other colors that are transparent as well. Al Davis says an armory arsenal. That sounds super cool. Yeah, and it doesn't take too long to print out the weapons. Like I think like the most like one of these little weapons will take to print out is like maybe like 20 minutes. But I've got some big projects I'm wanting to try to. So we got a lot of cool stuff coming up as far as that goes. Keep an eye on the shorts, because that's where I like to post my customs. For like gems or smoke. Yeah, like for smoke, I think it would work really well. And honestly, I haven't really tried the transparent filament myself. I've been kind of thinking about it here recently. But I know I've done glow in the dark filament, and that's kind of translucent. Like if you go and you watch the the unboxing I did for the theatrical edition of Christopher Reeve Superman, you can see the Fortress of Solitude console that I printed out in that, and that one's in the glow in the dark filament. Bobby Wald says, I want to test out. I saw a glow in the dark filament. It works the one I have works pretty well. It glows really nicely. The problem with the glow in the dark filament, from what I understand, is that there's certain chemicals in the glow in the dark plastic. I guess the phosphorescent materials that can be kind of corrosive to a brass nozzle. So if you're going to print those out, you want to use like I think it's a stainless steel nozzle, but you can research that more on your own. Like I know mine has a steel nozzle on it anyway, so I'm not too worried about it. But my new printer is my last two printers were both Creality Ender printers, and this new one is Bamboo Labs, which it's extremely toxic. Al Davis says, maybe, I don't know. It doesn't stink, so I'm not too worried. If it doesn't stink, I figure it's not going to kill me. There's a reason stuff stinks, folks. There's a reason our bodies tell us not to inhale something. Anyway, there's the shield. And the thing I always really like about this shield is it is on a pivot, and it does rotate all the way around. So that's cool. So yeah, he can hold all three of these weapons, since the shield just kind of clips to his wrist. And this is a really cool character. Like the Snake Men came at like the tail end of the Masters of the Universe line. So that's why like there's relatively few Snake Men as far as like versus the evil horde or the Bobby Alt says, I have a Jay Gora And Al Davis says, a jaguar? I don't know why I'm saying it in the British way. Captain Have Fun says, some Japanese and Chinese figures smell when you open them. You have to let them air out. I'm talking Mafex and Fonjoy. Yeah, like a lot of action figures just kind of that weird smell when you open them up. And I guess like, maybe the Chinese and Japanese markets don't mind that so much, and Americans are just kind of snooty and see there, I just finished printing something out. That's the actually the Castle Grayskull rifle, so that I got printing out right now. So we're moving right along on all those. Going to do the spear and the halberd and the poleaxe, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Al Davis says, "Sorry, just wondering, being a dipshit." Ha. No, you're just like just sorry, was being it. It's cool. It's cool. So, dude, I get so many people bullshitting here in the chat. It wouldn't be the chat if people weren't bullshitting. It's like that's how it is. We're just here having fun. We're just here hanging out on my couch talking about action figures. That's all we're doing. I ain't trying to cure cancer here. So and that's also the reason why I don't really mind getting kind of distracted from this stuff. This isn't supposed to be like a formal action figure review. And if somebody does come here because they want my insights on an action figure, I'm happy to provide them. And I'm glad you're getting that out of these videos. That's really cool. But mainly I'm just talking about stuff. And if I get distracted away from the action figure, that's just going to happen. This isn't like a typical action figure unboxing channel. This is you're hanging out with me at my house. This is where we're just having a conversation, man. And like even the early videos before I was even doing the chats at all, like, that's kind of how I was viewing it. Like you were coming over to my house. You did. He says, Al Davis says, thank you. Hoped I didn't derail you. You did derail me, but that's cool. That's fine. That's it's easy to derail me. It's not a difficult thing to do. So I've said it before, I'll say it again. Don't anybody feel bad when you get me off on a tangent. It's very easy to get me off on a tangent. It's I've just got, that's just how my brain works, man. It's just how it is. So don't feel bad about it. So anyway, and especially like once I get towards like the end of the unboxing where I pretty much talked about everything, that's when we can go like fully into just like that sort of mode where we're just talking about whatever, and that happens somewhat frequently. But anyway, I think that is it for this episode. I think that's it for Reptilax. He's a pretty cool looking figure, and I think has a lot of potential as a character. That like I said, there's not really a whole lot of media on this guy, so you can pretty much use him however you want. And he's a cool looking snake man, and I actually like you can get parts of by the way, you can get the accessories for this guy, like the actual accessories that were designed for him, to 3D print if you want to do that. And I might do that anyway, but I actually really like that he comes with kind of reused accessories, that his head is kind of retooled from Fangman. Like, remember, like so many of our old Masters of the Universe figures, like the vintage ones, were recycled from other parts. Like, how many times did we see like Castle Grayskull weapons colored in some other color, like Scareglow's halberd, or Clawful's mace, or anything like that, Webstor's rifle. And it's just the sort of thing like we got used, and I liked seeing stuff like that reused. I liked seeing Stinkor and Mossman and characters like that. And it seems to me like if these were characters that had have existed in the vintage line, if Fangman was a character that they'd made back then, and then they decided to make Reptilax, yeah, sure, they might recolor Fangman's head in green. Why not? They could be of the same species, maybe. So, but I'm pretty sure the breastplate is an original part. I don't think I've seen that breastplate before. So, and I don't know if this tool is like tail. Sorry, maybe it's Spikeore's tail. Maybe it's like the same tail that came with Spikeore in the sketchbook. I don't remember. So I know we had a tail. But anyway, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like and subscribe, and all the all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about Reptilax. Next episode, I'll be back, and I'll be opening up Vipor and have some interesting things to say about that figure. Al Davis says, quick question, if that's cool. Of course it is. Do you use any apps like Polycam to create a scan of, say, Reptilax's head to use? And hit like, says Captain Have Fun. Any apps like Polycam to create? I haven't tried that yet. So to use 3D software and create a unique helmet for him. No, I haven't. You sound like you know more than me about that. So you should make a video talking about it. Or at least I'll try to see if I can find some kind of video talking about. Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll have to check it out. But no, I've never actually scanned anything. Like, I looked into doing it when I first got my first 3D printer, and we're talking like that was a few years ago now. So it's been a while. I'm sure there's been advances in that, just like there's been advances in the 3D printers. So yeah, like just since I got my second 3D, not even my first 3D printer, I loved it. And the second 3D printer, I loved even more. I thought that it was even better than the first one I got. And this one is even better than the Ender that I had before. So yeah, like maybe my next 3D printer will be something even more amazing. But hopefully I won't have to buy another one for a while. They are still expensive, but you know, like I paid less for this one that I paid for my second one, and it's a way better 3D printer. So and my last 3D printer, like I said, I thought that one was really good. It was certainly a great 3D printer for the time. Al Davis says you can do your own head to custom onto He-Man's body. Yeah, I already have that. It's called the Masterverse New Eternia King Randor figure. That one I already look at as being like, that's the Alan Belk action figure right there. like I said at the time, I'm not saying that people from Mattel are watching my show and decided we're going to make an action figure of He-Man's dad that looks like this guy. I'm not saying that's what happened at all. I don't have that kind of ego. But I am saying that if it had have happened, if they had have watched my show and thought to themselves, we'll make a figure of King Randor that looks like this guy, that would be what it would look like. So just throwing that out there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the episode. Next episode is Vipor. We will talk to you next time. Bye.